I'm here today with Sean Kappauf, Executive Director and founder of One Atta Time, also known as Atta. This dude's super passionate about, simply put, saving lives, and I'm going to let him tell you about how he does it. So, Sean, thanks for joining me today.
Yep.
And tell me what this thing is.
This is a filter, and basically what this does is you put dirty, contaminated water in the bucket, you drop this hose down, dirty water goes through the hose, through the filter, and out comes clean drinking water. Cleaner than bottled water. And so what I do is I give these out. Well, actually, a team of us go around the globe and we provide these to families who need it, essentially. And when we hand a bucket to them, this has the capacity of doing about 20 years or more clean water. So it's not just like a life straw, it's not just a thing, it's a thing that actually is sustainable and has longevity. So yeah, when we go into communities, people get access to clean water for the first time.
That's awesome. So where in the world are these going?
Right now, on a consistent basis, they are going to Colombia. They're going to an unidentified location that I can't say online.
Perfect.
Let's just say they don't like the United States of America.
Excellent.
Yeah. They're going, and they're going to Vietnam. They're going to El Salvador. They're going to Uganda. They're going to Mexico, and then they also are going in the United States to disaster relief areas.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so why water?
Well, for one, water, without it, we don't live. So that's one thing is that it's a necessity.
Okay.
But personally for me, I had a kid that I sponsored through an organization called, I think, Compassion or something like that. And we sponsored him to give him like basic health care and I don't know, education, I think, something like that. And I went down there to visit him, to hang out with him, because I'm like, sounds like fun, let's do that.
And where was this?
In El Salvador.
Okay.
And I found out that, when I met him, I found out that he had worms. He had worms from water, the water he was drinking. And that messed with me because here's this little kid who loves, like, I didn't know how much he loved me, but he came up and like hugged my leg and squeezed me, and I was holding him, and he was like so excited. You could just like see in his eyes, he was glowing. And I'm like, wow, dude, and my heart was like, whoa, I love this kid. This kid is so cool. And he's like showing me around, and then I found out that he's sick. He's sick from the water he's drinking. And I'm like, worms from water? That's crazy. I gotta fix that. I gotta help. This is like almost like my child. I gotta help out my child and figure out how that all works. And so that's how I got into water.
That's awesome.
Water, yeah.
So what year was that?
2013.
Okay, and you just jumped full time into water at the time?
No.
No. Okay. Well, what were you doing?
It's been a slow process. I was a pastor in my past life.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, and so what? How did this kind of grow from there?
It was a slow process, but basically, I started doing research on water. What would be the best thing? I actually gave 2 engineers that I knew and said, hey, could you do some research on the best water filter out there? And they both came back with this company, Sawyer.
Okay.
And I always stick with engineers because they're the most pickiest.
Right.
You know, they know it all. The world would be solved if we all were engineers. So they came back and I'm like, okay, that's the filter. And so then I just started contacting people and nonprofits and whatnot that were providing the filter.
Okay.
So I figured I'll just join that.
Yeah. So this is one of the most interesting things to me about your story is that you didn't really want to start your own thing. You wanted to just get involved with other companies or organizations who were doing it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here was a list that was local, and then here was a list that was like across the United States. Well, I'll just call one or an email them, and then get some filters, partner with them, see how they do it, and then go down there and get brine clean water.
And then what happened?
No one called me back.
So you just started.
So I came to a point where I was like, okay, it's been a week and no one's called me back, and that's another week that Brian has worms.
Yeah.
So what am I gonna do? Just like wait?
Yeah.
No, I'm like, well, I'll just do it myself then. And so that's when I started getting a team of people together. I started talking to people in El Salvador that have been doing missions work there. And I say missions, but really they've been involved in serving the community.
Yeah.
People who are like gringos, white guys, or whoever, that are coming down, not from El Salvador, that are coming down into the place to help serve the community. I'm trying to like pick their brain. What's the best way that we can help others without hurting them?
Yeah.
how do we empower them and give them dignity rather than try to strip things away from them or for them to be reliant upon us.
Okay.
And just a bunch of research, and then we created a plan for that, and then went out there and distributed the filters to Brian's community.
So how many of these filters have you gotten out now?
About almost 12,000.
Really?
Yeah.
And how many people has that reached?
Oh, average family is 6 to 10 people.
Okay.
And we typically give them to families.
Okay.
So if you do the math, it's like 6 to 10 times 12,000.
That's awesome.
Something like that. But there's certain places like in Colombia, we got a big cistern.
Yeah.
And we attached, I think, maybe 10 of them to it. These things, we just plugged them in around.
Yeah.
And they drop down, and it's at a school, and that water tank gives 700 kids access to clean drinking water.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they've never had, and when they ran up, when we installed it, they ran up crying, like, yeah! That's just crazy.
What's kind of one of the coolest stories of when you've delivered these, or when or it doesn't happen when you deliver them, but like something where you've heard a story or been involved with something, like what's something that you could share with us on that?
Man, I think one of the ones that caught me off guard and still catches me off guard.
Yeah.
We've been trying to get filters into a certain location that I cannot name.
Right. Because they don't like us.
Yeah, because they don't
Right.
like us. If you just Google what countries don't like us, and you'll probably figure out, oh, it's probably that one. And I can't bring, I wanted to bring like 400 filters into
Yeah.
this country. I was planning on going there in February. And my leader's like, well, we can't bring 400 in. They're gonna like flag us. So I'm like, well, how many can we bring in? He's like, maybe 2. I'm like, well, that's not good enough.
Right.
What, 400?
Right.
And he's like, well, I don't know how we're gonna do it. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. In December, he called me and said, hey, a friend of mine's hosting the national soccer team, the B team, not the A team, but the B team, national soccer team of this country.
Okay.
And he's like, I talked to the head coach. And the head coach said he'd be willing to take some filters back into the country. And I'm like, no way. And yeah, he's like, how long are they gonna be there for in Colombia? He's like, till Sunday, and it was Wednesday. I'm like, oh, shoot. So I started punching numbers and figuring out, what's the best way to get them there and that quickly. And so basically I just said, hey, pack your bags, we're gonna go tomorrow morning. He's like, seriously? I'm like, yeah. And we were on the plane, and he's like, wait, we never brought filters into Colombia.
Okay.
Yeah, we do work in Colombia, but this is the first time we actually like brought them in.
Okay.
And he's like, wait, how are we gonna get these into Colombia? And I'm like, well, do the Colombians like the United States? He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, I think we'll be all right. And sure enough, we were fine. It was great.
Okay.
And then we're sitting in this room, and it's my in-country leaders that are there in Colombia, and then the head coach of this national soccer team. And he's standing there, and a lot of the people in Latin America, they're very conscious of God and particularly Christianity. And he was telling me, he's like, I was praying to God, asking him if we should go to this tournament. And I felt like him saying yes. The only problem was I didn't get visas until 2 days before the tournament. And we make 10 to 20 bucks a month. So we had to rally a bunch of money from other families in Spain and the United States and other places that we have contacts. And we got enough money to go to Colombia to play in this tournament. 40 of us. He said, the problem is, and this is while we're sitting in here, and I have 400 filters behind me while we're talking, right? And he says the problem is it's been about a week and we haven't won a single game. And every time I lose or we lose, he's like, I'm asking God, why are we here? We suck. We've wasted so much money to come here and we haven't won a single game, team. And then he starts getting teary-eyed and he's like, now I know why we're supposed to be here.
So cool.
We're supposed to bring clean water back to our country and play soccer and suck, but we're here to bring clean water back to our country. And I'm like, what the heck? Yesterday I was getting diapers at Costco. Today I was sitting in Bogota looking at this guy and just how things are interconnected. It just blew my mind. And then I asked a very dumb question, which is very common to me. And I asked him, I said, how confident are you that you could smuggle these filters back into your country? And both the Colombian leaders and him started laughing, and they said, Sean, I'm pretty sure us invented smuggling. He's like, it's in our DNA, we've got this. I'm like, all right, cool. And sure enough, they did. They brought 400 filters back in. So when I flew down in February, They were there at our leader's house, and I gave the entire soccer team access to clean water. We said take a filter, of course, and to their community, so their community got clean water, and then we have ongoing distribution right now happening in that country.
So cool.
And on top of that, now we're in conversation with that government, and hopefully we can figure it all out.
Like in the United States, a little bit more.
Maybe not them, but us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So now this is your full-time thing, right?
Yeah, full-time.
So what? I mean, you built it over years.
Mm-hmm.
You distributed 12,000 of these. What got you to the point where you're like, this is it. This is my all-in. I have to do this full-time.
We just got back from Puerto Rico doing disaster relief work.
Okay.
And my family went too. So sometimes my wife and kids will come.
Yeah.
And we came back, and my wife and I were debriefing on our porch, and she's like, look, she was like, that was like the most incredible thing ever.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she's like, I want to do this full time. And I said, don't say that. Don't say that. That's like a whole nother level of responsibility. Please don't say that. And I'm like, seriously? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, well, when? She's like, now. And I'm like, can't do it now, but I can work at it in the next 6 to 8 months, 9 months. And so that's what I did. My wife was, I'm always on board. Like, I'm always, obviously, I'm invested. I'm game. But she was the one that like pulled the trigger.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And how long ago was that?
Full time for me was August 2018, August 1st. So it's been a little over a year.
So cool.
I'm still here.
You made it.
I made it.
You made it. So far.
For now. That's every day I'm like, I made it. Today.
All right, so on that point, how can people support you so you can continue making it?
I think one of the biggest ways you can support us is by financially donating.
Yeah.
But here's the beauty of it. Like, a lot of times people think like, in order for me to make an impact, I got to give a lot.
Right.
But for us, this here is cheap.
Yeah.
It's $50 to give a family access to clean drinking water
For
the
20
next
plus
20
years.
plus years.
Yeah.
So we are asking people, hey, look if you want to give $25 a month, that'll give 5 families access to clean drinking water every year. 25, that's less than $1 a day. You're going to give 5 families access to clean drinking water. And here's the beauty of it. When our local leaders go in to distribute, because we're not distributing them. We show up and like support them, but it's the local people doing it. Because they need to be the heroes. When we watch these local people go in and distribute them, they give someone access to clean drinking water, their lives are changed instantly. So for us, it's like we've created a pathway for you to give a little bit to make a massive impact in the life of a family.
That's
so the biggest way for us is to do that. Another way is just to be an advocate and share, or come to an event that we're doing, or stay connected with us on social media and begin a relationship that way.
Yeah.
Email us, the whole bit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So my greatest passion is I love entrepreneurship. I love small business owners. I love seeing how people run their businesses, whether it's an organization or it's Apple, right? I love all of that. And my biggest question I always have for small business owners is, what's your why? Like, what gets you up every morning? What gets you to put this bucket together and distribute it?
Honestly, when you look at a mom particularly, and you give her this bucket, this filter, and you see the shift in her eyes of hope and hope. It's just like she no longer has to do all the things she used to do to get water. Now it's just instant. And to see like her eyes go forward of knowing that her kid's gonna be okay from the water they drink, I wake up every morning going, today we're gonna do more of that.
Yeah. That's sweet.
And I just gotta figure out, I'm like the water broker, dude. Find people who want to be a part, and want to be engaged. I don't just want their money, I want their hearts, I want people to like feel it like I do, and get them to be a part of it, and then we'll get filters, and then we'll give it to the people who need it. So I'm just like brokering this process.
So cool.
And that's what keeps me up. And then on top of that, the job has been able for me to like hang out with my family too. Yeah. Although I go out, I'm home too. Yeah. So that schedule has been really nice.
Sweet.
So if the kids have like a sporting thing or something, I can be there. Yeah. That part too has been really neat. That's sweet. It's helping my family as we help other families.
So cool, man.
Yeah.
Hey, well, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Stu.
We'll link to all the socials, all the channels, and give you ways that you can support and follow Atta, and keep it real.